Good morning, folks. Valentina here with Wisdom of the Tea Leaves. If you don't know what this is, if this is your first time watching, this is me in the morning enjoying my cup of tea and finding teas that have little sayings associated with them, like on the packages, there are little tags, and there's something written on the tags. And then I try to spin it and have some fun with it and sort of have an intention for the day, or something to think about as we go about our day. And I share my thoughts with you on video. And sometimes I just make up stuff. Like I could be thinking about something, could be something current in my life or in the life of my clients. So I just throw it out there while I'm drinking my tea. So this morning I'm drinking Good Earth, and they have little sayings by famous people, and some of the sayings are anonymous. This one happens to be by Henry Ford, and he says, "You can't build a reputation on what you are going to do." And I would say, yes, you can. Your reputation will be you a talker, not a doer. Big dreams, nothing to show for it. So you can't build a reputation on what you're going to do. And Henry Ford sure knows that. We're still driving Fords around. I'm a Ford girl. I've had Fords since the 80s. The only other car I've ever owned was a Mazda RX-7. That was my first car, and after that's been all Fords. And now Ford owns Mazda too. So I guess I'm a loyal customer. Anyway, you can't build a reputation on what you're going to do. A lot of times we are intimidated to actually do things we want to do, or we dream of doing, because we're afraid we're not going to be good enough, or too complicated, too difficult, don't know where to start, all kinds of things like this. Or sometimes we just like to be great in theory. We like to think of ourselves as wonderful, smart, go-getters, whatever, achievers, but we don't do anything because we might prove ourselves wrong. But it's kind of nice to talk about it. It's like, oh yeah, I like doing blah, 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 but then nothing comes out of it. There are a lot of starters out there that are not finishers. And to a degree, we're all kind of like that. Like, I don't finish all my projects. I start and I don't always finish my projects. Some of them I leave them behind for a while and I come back to them later and finish them. But for the most part, the theme is, I'm not a starter and I'm not finisher. I start, and for the most part, I finish. So a reputation, I'm just like thinking like what the word meant over the centuries. Like, words change semantics, words change meaning as we go through time. And so there was a time and place where to have a reputation didn't mean a good thing. But we're way past that time and place. Now it's sort of like leaving a legacy, like Stephen Covey says, leave a legacy. And it's what endures beyond us. So what do you want people to remember you by? How do you want to contribute? How do you want to make the world a better place? How do you want to make your life a better life? How do you want people to talk about you? So thinking of Stephen Covey again, I recently reread the Seven Habits book. I kind of pick it up once in a while, and every so often I leaf through it and have little marks in there, and I want to reread certain sections. And so there's a section in there where it's asking you to start with the end in mind. And so, like, imagining, for example, that it's your own funeral, and what do you want people to say about you? So, like, that's in a way your reputation. Like, do you want people to say, oh, this person was a total jerk and unfair and all that? Or do you want people to speak highly of you? And what do you want them to say? Like, there's many ways to speak highly of you, but what do you want them to say? Like, because what they say is essentially what you stand for. So starting with the end in mind is essentially starting with your reputation in mind. So things to think about. Life is too short, way too short. I didn't think so when I was 10 years old. It felt like from birthday to birthday was an eternity. And at 20s, I felt like I was going to live forever. In my 30s, I started kind of wondering whether that's true. And in my 40s, I'm feeling a crunch. It's like, sheesh, most people in my family live till about 65. So conceivably, I've lived almost 2/3 of my life. I need to hustle. So all of a sudden, a year goes by in a blink of an eye. And then what's there to show for it? So, all right, that's something to amuse yourself with today. You can't build a reputation on what you are going to do. So, if you have a list of things you're going to do, I suggest you start checking it off and working on these items. And I'll be happy to help you. I love working with people that are starting new projects or trying to figure out how to weave their dreams into their reality. And it's always fun to see what comes out on the other end. So hit me up, ValentinaPetrovaConsulting.com. And as always, pleasure talking to you. Take care.